In Active Directory, AD, default containers are predefined, system-managed organizational units, OUs, where certain types of objects are stored if no specific organizational unit, OU, is designated. These containers are set by Active Directory and have fixed names. They cannot be deleted, renamed, or moved. Each container is associated with a specific type of object in AD. Understanding these containers is essential for AD management, as they are used when objects are created without being assigned to a custom OU. Here's a breakdown of the default containers in Active Directory. The user's container is where user objects are placed by default when they are created in AD without being assigned to a specific OU. This container holds user accounts and also group objects. While you can create new users directly in the user's container, it's usually better to assign users to an appropriate OU for better organization and group policy application. The computer's container holds computer accounts created when they are joined to the domain, but aren't assigned to a specific organizational unit. Computer objects, which represent physical or virtual machines that are members of the domain, are stored here. Like the user's container, objects in the computer's container can be managed, but it's generally more efficient to place computers into dedicated OUs. The domain controller's container is used to store computer objects of domain controllers within the AD domain. This container holds the objects of all the domain controllers that are part of the AD domain. The domain controller's container is strictly reserved for domain controller objects. It cannot be used for other types of objects like users or workstations. The built-in container holds user and group objects that are used for administrative and built-in roles within the domain. These objects are automatically created by Active Directory. Groups such as administrators, guests, enterprise admins, domain admins, and backup operators are placed in this container. While these groups are primarily for built-in administrative tasks, they should not be used for regular organizational purposes. The system container stores system-related objects, such as certain system policies and schema configurations. Various system-specific objects, like certain policies and security-related objects, are stored here. This container is largely invisible to regular users or administrators who don't work with the inner workings of Active Directory. This container is used to store foreign security principals. Foreign security principals represent security objects from trusted domains outside the current domain. Security principals that have been imported from trusted external domains are stored here. This container helps in managing trust relationships and objects from external forests or domains. Key characteristics of default containers include fixed locations, as these containers are always located within the domain root and have fixed names. They are not customizable, meaning they cannot be renamed, deleted, or moved to other parts of the AD structure. These containers are managed by the system and are not intended for regular use in the same way that organizational units, OUs, are. Why should you care about default containers? When you create objects in AD and don't assign them to a specific OU, they are placed in one of these default containers. Knowing where these objects end up helps you understand where the objects reside and how to manage them. Default containers, like users and computers, do not allow the application of group policy objects, GPOs, directly. If you want to apply specific policies to users or computers, it's recommended to place them in custom OUs. By default, objects placed in these containers lack the level of delegation and organization that you can achieve by assigning them to OUs. Although you can't modify or delete default containers, you can move objects out of them into custom OUs for better management. You can do this using Active Directory Users and Computers, ADUC, by locating the object in the default container, right-clicking on the object and selecting Move. You can also use PowerShell to move objects. Default containers have fixed, predefined names, while organizational units, OUs, have fully customizable names. Default containers do not allow delegation of control, whereas OUs allow full delegation of control. Default containers cannot directly apply GPOs, while OUs can apply group policy objects. Default containers are managed by the system, while OUs are managed by AD admins, allowing for fine-grained control. In summary, default containers in Active Directory are system-managed locations where objects are placed if no specific organizational unit is assigned. These containers include users, computers, domain controllers, built-in system and foreign security principals. While they cannot be renamed, deleted, or moved, they serve an important role in AD management by storing objects and handling system-related tasks. To enhance organization, security, and delegation, it's often best to move objects into custom OUs.